not that we couldn't play it, but the crowd was bored, you know? And we were just like, oh, man, like... And then once we made the decision, you know what, F it, like, this record flows really good, let's just do it and see what happens.
Well, so many concept records, I think, they fall flat because bands or artists come up with the idea in the studio, and then as you say, as you go throughout the process, they tend to fall off a little bit. They don't commit 100%.
Right.
And you may as well commit 100%. If you put this record together from root to the fruit, go and play it like that. You know what I mean? See it through to the bitter end. You know?
Well, that's, I mean, you know, like you said, the album is sequenced the way it is on purpose, and the songs were written in that order and recorded in that order. We should play it in that order, you know, and that's how people are accustomed to hearing that record. And we've always stressed that it's not, I don't think it's an album that you can, just pick certain songs off of. I would hope that whenever people listen to it, it's from front to back. And that's how we stressed too when the album first came out. When the first time you hear this, don't just listen to the first four. You got, listen to it from start to finish.
Like all great records, I mean, track listing is so important. Song number 5, if it was song number 1, it just wouldn't be the same record, would it?
And it just, and I don't know, it would feel, especially this being the first real tour, it would feel really weird to split up that record like that. So it just made complete sense, and it works great.
Yeah, I bet. But you tie yourselves in still, though, and there must be days when you're like, man, I would love to just come on to, whatever, teenagers, or I'd love to come on to a different mood in a strange way.
I don't know. It's weird. Like that intro, the end on Black Parade is so awesome that it's like, wait, I don't even know how we're gonna start shows in the future, but It's just a
Russian literature.
Russian lit.
Just explore that side of your lives and be open about it. We know cat's out the bag now. Just go 100% on it. Shame you can't actually take a step back in the crowd and experience the show yourselves in a weird way. You're putting together the ultimate show as a fan of your own band, and yet you don't get to experience the way others do.
I know.
Are you filming it? Or do you
film it. I remember the first night it was a show 2 or 3 we watched on video and backstage, and I was blown away. Like I was like,
I am awesome.
I was like,
I was so good.
Actually, I think we were talking about how awesome the lighting.
That's
guy Ethan was.
Yeah, listen,
that's the one that.
If you're listening at home, that when they say they're talking about how awesome the lighting is, what they're really saying is we are awesome.
It's the lighting on us.
Okay.
It's the lighting on us.
I mean, if you lit something else, it wouldn't be as good as if you were lighting us. You know what I mean?
I mean, that guy's a genius, clearly, to be able to light you guys as well as he has. I'm sorry, I'm just saying.
You can't light just any old thing that way. It has to be us. But we watched it, and we were like, the first thing I realized is that I've never seen us in a space like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's this whole wall, it seems. Like, it's this whole city, and it was huge, and we were so small. And I was like, wow, like, we're in this giant space, and there's lights shooting all over the place. And, So we were very, very satisfied. Probably for the first time in our lives as a live band, we were completely satisfied with the production.
Fantastic confidence boost as well that early on to be able to know that you're actually doing something that feels good. And if it feels good on screen, it's going to feel good in the room.
Yeah, natural. It felt great on stage at first. We watched it just to confirm it, and then we were like, all right, cool.
Outstanding. I know you've said in the past and recently, Gerard, that you feel like you've got 3 places that you do hometown shows in LA, London, Creaser, and and New Jersey, obviously. I mean, just focusing on the third of the trio, when you've got your family and your friends there and you're playing, I guess, what is it, the Continental Arena? Was that where you played in Jersey? Or?
Yeah, I mean, Continental Airlines Arena.
What's it like when you play those shows and you've got that added pressure of having people that you know and love who followed you your whole lives down there watching?
That's actually a good thing. It's not a pressure thing. Because if you play too many shows in a row, you start to become desensitized. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? And you're just like. Yeah, and then some nights, depending on the arena, you can't really see the crowd. It's just too dark. It's a black void. And then sometimes knowing that certain people are out there changes. It gives you that extra boost that you need.
Are they honest with you on your night? Will your mum say?
Always. We don't hang out with people that aren't honest with us.
We like to keep it straight.
Yeah. Like my dad will always be like, "Did you mess that thing up?" Or did you trip? Because it looked like you tripped.
Yeah. Well, I did a gig once in Auckland City supporting Public Enemy, and my father came and watched me. It's the only time he ever saw me perform with my crew, and I came onto the intro, and my shoe came off and went straight into the crowd. Oh. And I had to perform for 25 minutes with one shoe on. So whatever goes wrong, I know the kind of boots you wear. You ain't gonna lose a shoe.
No,
never be that bad. It's gonna be good tonight, man. Everyone's getting very excited. We're gonna come back, catch up with you guys
shoes on and boots.
for tonight. In fact, it'd be good if someone could actually take one for the team and wear socks tonight, just to make me feel a little bit better about telling that story. This is Freestylers. We're going to come back and spend more time with Ray and Gerard from MCI on Radio 1 in a minute. Radio 1 presents My Chemical Romance tonight from Coco, and of course a lot of people won tickets, but even more couldn't be there this evening. And I sort of talked to you earlier on, guys, about the fact that the craziness, the hysteria surrounding it, people trying to win these tickets. We've done this with Coldplay, we've done this with Green Day, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Eminem. I, for one, have never seen a reaction like that, and just the desperation with which people were trying to get tickets to come down. So we should spare a thought for the people listening right now who can't actually make it to the show tonight.
I'm sorry.
You shouldn't apologize. Although in saying that, it must feel sometimes, given that you are a band of the people and your fans, they have huge expectations of you as a band, but also personally, given the nature of your music,
right.
Does that weigh heavily on your shoulders sometimes?
Not anymore. There's an adjustment period, but it doesn't weigh heavily. We've gotten to the point as a band where, especially when we made Black Parade, where everything we really wanted to say now is in the songs. So it's there. I feel actually less of an inclination to even talk live. I feel that it's already there, and what we're doing is already there. Having said that, I feel that us performing live, doing what we do, that's how we're there for people. I mean, that's all we can do. And so I don't ever feel that pressure anymore. I think all we could, the only thing we could do is kind of inspire them. Get up there, inspire them, and give them a great show. Give them every drop of blood you can, and then
it's a healthy detachment process, I think, isn't it? Because when you're early on and you're playing to 500 people in smaller rooms, you feel like you can actually go out there and touch every single member of the crowd and say what's up and be there for them and listen to their stories. But I mean, you cause a riot if you stepped outside of one of the arena shows now and tried to do that.
Yeah, when you get to play, that's the other bonus, is when you get to play the smaller gigs, you feel like you're literally sitting next to everybody in there. It's now made it so 500. Or a 1,000-person club feels like you're actually just hanging out in a club with everybody.
Tonight is the living room show at Coco.
Yeah.
In the documentary you played earlier on, which people can download tomorrow for themselves and listen across the next 7 days as well, but we traced your journey from sort of outsiders to your current position, as we've talked about, as one of the most popular new bands in the world. Does this acceptance make you feel accepted, given how you grew up and where you came from and what inspires your music? Do the more records that you sell make a difference for you personally outside of being in the band?
The record sales don't really make a difference, but there's a feeling after a while you start to become accepted by your peers, and then you meet your heroes and you get to tour with them, you get to and that starts to make you feel accepted. You start to meet people that you start to bond with, and you realize that your band is actually accepted by other bands. And then there's a certain period where you have to kind of prove you're a band for a while before other bands accept that you're actually even a band. And that's fine, because there's so much crap that comes out every year that you got to kind of sift it. And after Black Parade, it really started to feel like we're a real band.
Well, you made the album that said that, but also, and it should be pointed out to anyone who's listening, that you're very personable, very nice people, and I think it's nice to be accepted amongst your peers, because that's where the connection is made, not just literally on a musical level.
Right.
And I think there are certain people, obviously, that don't understand the music that you make or understand the effect it has on your audience.
Right.
It's going to be that yin and yang.
Right.
And the popular misconception with you, I've found, is that you're miserabilists.
Right.
And every time I've ever talked to you guys, you're very good-humoured, really light-hearted, and I think that actually flows through your music at times too.
It does completely.
So that must frustrate you a little bit,
Now it's gotten funny, actually. Now I think we've got to the point where I'll just start talking about it live or in interviews, and how I just sat around and moped all day. I sat in a black room, cried, and then I just came out here and...
The first time I actually met Gerard, he was crying, and it was awkward for both of us.
Yeah.
It was a nice bonding. It was a bonding moment. I gave you a cuddle. We were okay from that point forward.
I think we're too over the top and ridiculous for people to imagine that we sit around and cry. You know what I mean?
But have you thought about, taking some of the humor that features in a few of the songs on the Black Parade, and even in a song like "I'm Not Okay," there's a hysteria in the delivery towards the end, which is funny.
Yeah.
Have you thought about kind of exploring that even a little bit more, and kind of really almost opening up and creating sort of a more euphoric record, a very lighthearted record, not necessarily Weird Al Yankovic, but tapping into something that's just a little bit more uplifting in a different kind of way? Have you thought about how it would sound?
Yeah, I think so. I think. Well, I would imagine that we've kind of closed the chapter in a lot of ways on death for this band. Although I think that there's, it's always going to be a subject, and I don't know why that is, but I don't know, like the newer stuff, like we've been playing around with, none of it seems to be about death. So
life after death, as Biggie Smalls said.
Yeah.
So the show, not long now, I think sort of maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. I don't want to put too much of a time on this because things can go wrong, but hopefully we're going to be on time. In saying that, you know, you've got so much of an intense schedule ahead of you, and just looking at your touring, I mean, you've got, what, Europe to go, then a huge run around the US, then the summers, the festivals and all those kind of things as well. I'd imagine routine is incredibly crucial to you in order to stay sane and keep the show on the road.
Yeah, you're actually dead on correct. I think having a routine is what gets you through it. You know, like we like locking into a tour and staying on that tour. When we have to deviate or hop on airplanes and do stuff, that's the stuff that, you know, wears you out.
Yeah.
Like you could burn the dudes out real fast.
Do you worry about your voice?
I kind of can't anymore. Like, I don't really have the option. I used to. And you know what? Honestly, a lot of what singers do is really psychological. I mean, there's a physical element, you know. We just recently did 14, 15 in a row. By that point, I'm not going to sound great, you know. That's just a fact. And nobody would. And, but a lot of it's psychological. You know, if I didn't do the things I like to do, like, they tell you not to drink coffee. If I didn't drink coffee, I'd probably, like, freak out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't think about that stuff. Some nights we're only getting 6 hours sleep. Can't think about it, you know. So, you know, I'm all right. It's a game you got to play with yourself.
You guys kind to each other after a bad show?
Yeah, absolutely.
You accept that you will have bad shows, just statistically on the road it will happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have band meetings? You sit down and go, right.
Oh yeah, we have band meetings. Yeah.
We haven't had a big one like when we were recording the record. No heavy room meetings.
No real heavy room meetings. Yeah.
We've had a couple meetings.
I just love the idea of you guys sitting around like having a serious band board meeting. You know, you messed up that line. I'm fining you $20.
Oh, no.
James Brown.
Yeah. It's never
Rest in
about
peace.
stuff like that. Actually, it's, you know, we're a bunch of dudes that are really there for each other. So if somebody has something like that, you know, we have each other's back. And really, when we come off stage, usually the first thing somebody says is, "Oh, I really messed that part up," and then somebody says to them,
It's all good.
"It's all good." Okay, I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I, on the other hand, will be listening very closely tonight, and I'll make a list. It's been really nice for you to drop in and hang out with us on the show, and most importantly, you know, for you guys to bring the gear, the PA, the rest of the band, and your whole unit, and come down and play for us tonight. And I know for sort of 1,000 or so people, it's going to be something very special to remember, and for everyone, you know, everyone listening around the world and in the UK who couldn't make it, you know, all grumbles aside, you know, you're getting live My Chemical Romance on Radio 1, and that's going to be very, very cool. So thanks for coming down. We're going to play Soul Savers. This is our single of the week, Mark Lanigan's sort of new side project, and thanks again for popping in, guys. See you.